What is going on, everybody? Cobra Trading back again. I'm sorry I haven't been around for quite some time. I was in the process of building a new computer, and along the way I actually had a massive hard drive failure, so that put me way behind schedule. I am back now. I did not do an update on any of my Elliott-Wave counts. I'm actually going to leave that for the video that I'm doing on Friday. So today I want to focus on some Ichimoku Cloud, some price action and support and resistance levels, candlestick theory, and stuff like that. And just kind of keep it a little more basic, mostly because I've still not even been trading Bitcoin for the last week or two while all this has been going on. I'm still flat. I'm not in any open positions. So right now I want to actually look on the higher timeframes as well as some of the lower timeframes and just kind of see if it's even worth getting into some positions right now. So let's flip over to the charts. Obviously, we all know, we hit this high 14K, came all the way down. We had this massive V-shaped recovery, and now we're just kind of going sideways. So I'm going to try and keep this as short and sweet as I can. This is the weekly chart. It's looking right now for the week, even though this just opened yesterday. We got 6 days left here, that we are actually forming currently a bullish engulfing candle. We had this kind of a doji spinning top bottom here. And all of these candles have just been not really telling of if we're going to go down further or whatever. These are all really indecisive candles, right? You know, you've got doji, spinning top, doji, and this is so far we're getting an actual candle here. The last actual candle that we had was like a month ago when we had this big bearish engulfing candle. And the week before that, we had this big bearish hammer right here. So if anybody actually shorted this big weekly close candle up here at 97.50, you have done quite well for yourself. Looking at our indicators on this weekly chart, we've had this bearish confirmed cross on our MACD for quite some time now, about 3 weeks or so. However, this is in bullish territory. So just keep that in mind. It's looking here, if you zoom in, that this might actually be starting to slope around. Maybe we dip below just a little bit, but as long as both of these lines don't dive into bearish territory, we actually might start seeing some kind of a reversal here if the bears can't really keep pushing this down further. The bulls have been doing a really good job holding this up, and I'll show that illustrated on some of these smaller time frames. Traditional Ichimoku rules are you don't trade when the price action is in the cloud. That's exactly what I'm not doing right now. I am not trading this. Price action is in the cloud. Obviously, I'm not going to wait until a break of 11,500 to get into a long, but in the overall scheme of things on this higher time frame, I don't really see any reason to be getting into a long right now. Because these past weekly candles here have been very indecisive, and we're only just barely using our Kijinsen in the bottom of this cloud as support here. As soon as that breaks, I definitely expect a retest of 8,300, which is where our 50 EMA is. You can actually see that we actually have a bullish cross on our daily MACD, and we're coming up into the bullish territory here. So price has peaked up above our Tenkan and Kijinsen lines, which are almost right on top of each other. These on the daily chart technically have not crossed. And that's something that's very important that you want to notice. So, like if you've been long, since like way back here, if you've been long, and you longed this bounce here after our first one, you longed like 58, or you longed up here at 68, or you longed up here at 85. And technically, if those are swing positions, this is still technically a hold right here. These lines have not crossed yet. I know that I'm bearish and all of that. We're starting to test the bottom of the cloud on this higher time frame. We have tested our 100 EMA now 2 times. We have fallen below our 50 EMA. However, was only down there for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a couple days, like about 10 days, less than 2 weeks that we've been below the 50 EMA. So if we're able to reclaim that here and then retest that as support, I definitely think that might be a good sign to possibly start getting into some longs. But on this daily chart, our RSI is flat, by the way. Our ATR is really, really low because the price action ever since here, it's just been sideways, 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 grinding down. I saw some people calling this a bull flag. I don't know where they're getting this from as a bull flag. You need to use this entire structure, and nothing about this is a bull flag at all. Like, yeah, sure, this is a downward channel, but this entire structure is not. You can't just take like half of a structure and fit it to your bias. So I wanted to comment on that. I've been seeing some people on Twitter posting this ridiculous channel and calling it a bull flag. Is this can you draw this channel? Yes, you can absolutely do that. Can you just call the middle of this entire structure and separate this out and call it a bull flag? No, you cannot. That definitely goes against classical charting rules. You can't do that. That channel does exist. However, I am currently not using that. I'm using these wonderful trend lines that I have drawn. So on this daily chart, what I would really like to see here, we had a high, we had a low, we had a low, we had a higher high, we had a higher low, then we had a lower high, then we had a lower low. So this is definitely a downtrend right here. This is its own downward, channel or whatever. But this entire thing is technically not. You would have to take that whole thing. It would look something like this. Depending on how you draw yours. If you really want to count these wicks down here, it would look something like that. That would be 3 touches, 1, 2, 3. You'd be looking for your third touch to the upside up here, which would be an upside of around 11 grand. This is actually looking pretty decent to come up and try and make a higher high up here. We've got big wicks to the downside, lots of absorption. There's buyers down here. And we've been slowly moving that area upwards, right? We had it here, now we've got it here, right? This whole zone right here is all buyers. This is where the demand is currently. Once there's no more demand here, yes, the price could absolutely tank, and we could see it fall through here and retest this bottom trend line, anywhere from 8,000 to 7,600. Right now, we're using this point of control. That's that dotted red line here. That's part of this this volume profile. We're using that as solid resistance here. Our next level of resistance is actually up here at this pink dotted line at about $9,500. If we come up and we test this, that's really good. As long as we can come back down and retest this point of control at 9,090 basically, and use that as support. If we end up breaking above this, I would really like to put in a higher high. Bitcoin is going to be coming to a decision point very, very soon. And I think we're going to be getting ready to have some kind of big move, whether it's up or down. I think that we're going to have some kind of big move very near in the future. I think probably before the end of this month, we're going to see a big move here. This isn't going to continue sideways like this forever. Now, there's definitely a lot of things that are pointing down, but there's also a lot of things that are pointing upwards. I really am thinking that this is some kind of flat correction here, and it's already in, maybe this was like a WXY, and now this is going to be the start of a new impulse up. But all I do know is that Bitcoin is going to be deciding very soon. Anyway, back to the indicators. On the daily chart here, the MACD is looking like it's going to be crossing into the bullish territory, which is a really good thing. And on the 4-hour chart, we're definitely already in the bullish territory, and we've gotten some serious bullish candles for the last day or two. Right now, the most common area of demand is all this in here. That's all demand, and that goes back further. There's a lot of demand over here too. So, all of these levels in here, this is all demand. So that's a really good thing. There's definitely demand down there, but how long that demand is going to be there, that's pretty much the bearish. That's pretty much the bearish side. One thing to note, 4-hour chart, we are starting to peak up just a tad bit up into overbought territory. On the 1-hour chart, this is why I think that we're probably going to end up in touching these levels. We're starting to see a little bit of divergence here. And a pattern forming on our RSI, right? So we've got this kind of double topish situation going on here, and we're making higher lows. So I think that this might form some kind of triangle, and then we do something like this. If this ends up breaking down, then I see us probably coming down into around here before making another high. So if this is a support zone for the RSI, and we come up and retest this, that basically would be me saying, okay, we're going to make a higher high in price after a pullback. That would lead us to have some bearish divergence on the RSI because we made a higher high in price, but a lower high in the RSI. So that's one thing that I am going to be watching. I'm thinking that on the smaller time frames here, that we could definitely see some type of top here coming in for a top, and that we're going to correct. I wouldn't want to see the price action go too far below these levels here. If we end up breaking below this box, I mean, you can see all of the levels of distribution, and this box here is pretty important. I'm actually probably going to leave this on my chart. Let's make sure that's visible. Cool. I'm going to leave this here. This would definitely be my target zone. If I was shorting this would be my target zone. It looks like we're double tapping resistance up here. There's a lot of supply up here. So this would be basically in red. Let's go ahead and just make this red. So that would be our resistance. And then this would be our support down here. So that said, this is probably where I would start laddering shorts with a stop somewhere up here over at this level. And then I would try to be expecting, maybe something like that to happen, where we correct a little bit, stay inside the box, retest the top of the box, fail here. That was a terrible X. Fail here. And then come to the downside for a target here around $9,100, $9,200. So that's pretty much where I stand. That's a really short term. In terms of the long term play, like I said, I really need to start seeing some signs of an actual reversal here. I mean, even on this 4-hour chart, like this isn't looking very good. Normally when you have the lines go up very, very quickly like this and grow very far apart, normally you end up seeing a pretty dramatic cross. You end up seeing something like this, and then that's when we end up reversing. So I'm going to be watching that very closely on the MACD on the 4-hour, plus it's overbought here as well. But in the overall scheme of things, not talking about scalps and stuff, we need to break these highs, right? I mean, that's priority number one. We need to get back and start making some taps above 97, 93. So we need to start tapping 9,800 again. We need to start hitting this trend line, and we need to start coming out of this if we are, and the bulls are going to rally and we're going to push up higher from here. I would love nothing more than for this entire situation down here than to have been a wave one. I would love for this to be a wave one on a higher time frame in terms of Elliott, and this is a wave one up here, and this was some sideways fuckery correction for a wave two, and now we're coming in to a wave three. A wave three for something like this, depending on where you pull your fibs from. If this is our orthodox top and you pull from top to bottom, that puts us up here testing again this bottom trend line, which is about 11,300. That's the 1618 extension. Now, obviously we don't have to go that high. I would first be expecting these levels in here, which is about the 272, which is perfectly fine. And that's totally fine. But in order for us to have some kind of confirmation of a continuation here, we would want to see something like this. In a bullish scenario, maybe we go around, do a little more sideways stuff. We come up, test the 1272, retest our previous 886, and then come up into here for a 12K type move. We've seen bullish candles like this in the past that have just completely failed to rally. This is a really good example of this. And honestly, it's kind of looking a little bit like a fractal to me, something like this, where we fail to rally, and then we break down, and now we're hovering down here around this blue trend line again. And now using this as very strong resistance. This is extremely possible to happen here. This is why a lot of people are saying, okay, we're shorting bounces here. That's really not a bad idea considering, when taking this fractal into account. It's totally possible. I hope that doesn't happen, but if you're trying to go short here, this is probably one of the times to do it and just be laddering up to here. For a swing short, I probably wouldn't have my stop higher than like 95.50 or so, somewhere in here. If that ends up getting tapped, chances are we are going to reverse, because we'll be coming up here to retest those $9,800 levels. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Thank you for sticking with me. Make sure that you check out all the links in the description below for Twitter, Medium, all of that good stuff. If there's certain topics that you want to learn about, or if you have questions about this, let me know in the comments below, and I can go ahead and write a Medium article about it for you guys. With that being said, I hope that you all, again, had a wonderful July 4th holiday if you're in the United States. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll be updating and doing an Elliott-Wave video this Friday. Stay tuned for that, and happy trading.